Welcome to our live stream of high school sports. Please note that this broadcast is produced by an independent team of sports enthusiasts, and the views, opinions, and commentary expressed are solely those of the commentators and not representative of the schools, teams, or athletes featured. While we strive for accuracy, occasional errors or misstatements may occur. This stream is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the show.
Yeah, come on, let's go. Hey, you ain't never seen nothing like this. Ain't no telling how it might get. It's the hypest right here. High school sports at its finest. So many highlights, you have to rewind it. Hey, Stream City, let me just remind you. The heart of a lion, the team full of fighters. So many stars on the field, it'll blind you. They're giving everything they got till the time's up. Yeah, legends in the making. History is made. We just getting started. You ain't seen a thing. YSN, gotta know the name. They gon' bring the flames, they gon' do their thing. Take it to another level, don't hold back. High school, got a passion and we show that. Got the drive and you know they got the heart. Number one spot for your high school sports. Let's go for the win. Hey.
And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are back and better than ever. It is YSN Live for this Monday, the 28th of April.
Last couple of days of April.
Buddy, you have no idea. This has gone so fast.
Mm-hmm.
I have become an April fool because this, boom, gone. April 1 to April 28 is an absolute just blur. With everything that's happened. And we're going to talk about the Myrtle Beach trip. You had a trip down south to Atlanta as well. So much has happened, and then yet so little has happened because Mother Nature has took an absolute dump on us, and looks to be the same way coming this week. Looks like we're going to get some games in tonight.
Yeah.
But the rest of the week, sketchy McSketcherson, pal.
Yeah.
DJ Oakley, joined by Anthony Hartwig, by the way. Welcome back, pal.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's good to be back. Good to be back on the show. We're happy to be back. Yeah, weather looks good today, and at least the temperatures are no longer in the 40s. That's my big thing. Like rain and 60 I can take. Rain and 42, that's kind of harder.
That's dicey at best. Dicey. We got back. I think we were still in Pennsylvania on the way back home in the Chrysler Pacifica, which held up like a champ, by the way, from here to North Myrtle Beach and back. Got out of the car, fill it up with gas, and I was like, we're not in Kansas anymore.
No.
This is cold. It was 40-some degrees. And I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done with this crap. Like, we got to be able to get that sun that we had down in North Myrtle Beach, you had down there in Atlanta, Georgia, bring it back with us and be the heroes of the Valley. And right now,
today we did the job.
We did the job. It was a sacrifice bunt. We did the job. But the rest of the week, sorry about it. We'll blame our dear friends over at Channel 21, WFMJ, Andrew DePaulo, who always gets beat up for the weather. Like, he's got a button or something that he pushes. Like, people, they get really angry. The way they get really angry at us, like, randos get angry at meteorologists. And I don't think it's funny, but it's kind of, because people are like, do you think he's just got a remote control in there that he's pushing buttons? He's like, you know what, today? See, it's going to rain. I don't want them to play, see? Not how it goes. We have a
villain mustache.
We have yeah, see? We've got a great show for you today, see? You think we're going to talk about baseball and softball? No, see? More basketball on the horizon today. We have a great show. We had some, I don't want to say it's upsetting news. I mean, this is one of those kind of split decisions that we got this morning that you're really sad, kind of frustrated, because you want more, right? You're hungry, and you're like, oh man, this Louisville program, the program, kind of just getting the legs underneath them. And then you're happy for Coach Siegfried because he's put in 18 rock solid years as the leader of that program and wins that state championship, rides off into the sunset. We are so excited to have Coach Tom Siegfried on the show today to discuss that decision. What went into it? Was it just riding off into the sunset? Was it the fact that his son, Bo, is graduating and is going on to, different things? I'm so excited. I'm honored. And I want to give a quick shout out to Rob Johnson, who set this whole thing up, and team player from a standpoint. Like, I wanted him to have this interview because he's the voice of the Leps, right? And he's like, no, I want you to have this interview. I want you guys to do this. And hey, tip of the cap, because like, what a teammate that is. Because there's a lot of things and a lot of people that would say, no, I'm going to do this myself. I'm going to release this on it. Because perfect example, Rob Johnson right there. Spotlight Media Network. He could have done this all by himself, and we kind of tiptoed into it. And Rob let us know from the jump today, hey, this is what's happening. We're letting you know. And I said, hey, are you going to get an interview? He said, no, I want you to have it. Like, this is, and he's going to go do 2 more Louisville games today. I believe we're figuring that out. But this is when we talk about exclusivity, when we talk about what we do and why we do it, this is it. We're not one into the breaking news business per se, because you have to be careful with that. There is a lot of journalism and journalistic integrity that goes into that. But you got a state champion basketball coach who, after 18 years, steps down. I want to get him the mic and let him do it. Like, this is not like hard-hitting television. Coach, explain to us why
Right.
After the skeletons' closet, we want him to have the microphone and say to the people that followed him, why he chose to resign after 18 years in a state championship. And it might be as simple as, hey, we did it. How much higher can you go from there? Right. And it might be, hey, we're leaving the cupboard, full of potential for Louisville. So I'm excited for this, and I know you were excited as well. And this is a great opportunity. But before he even gets on, and I know he just jumped on the back, I want to take this moment to say thank you to Tom Siegfried, because what people don't know is the kind of guy that he is off the court, and he is a great advocate for local sports, and not just in Louisville, but across the board. Certainly in Louisville, but across the board. Because when we lost Louisville a couple years ago, there were only a few people select that were in our corner, and Tom Siegfried stood above the crowd and said, "We love YSN. We want YSN. They're good for our programs. They're good for the program." And for him to get that run, it was awesome for me, because good people deserve good things, and great people like Tom Siegfried deserve great things. And there is not an ounce of anything inside of me or we will do at this network ever that Tom Siegfried says, hey, I need a favor, and we will jump through hoops to make it happen for him, whether he is head coach or not. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we bring in the state champion coach of the Louisville Leopards in 2024 and 2025 season, and a gentleman who made a tough decision, I would assume, this morning, Tom Siegfried. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. And I don't know, you think about these types of decisions and they're going to be tough, but I don't think you really realize the emotions that come with it when it's time. And, to be quite honest with you, I just heard what you said, and I really appreciate that. But, just even having a different relationship with people like you guys, it makes it really tough. I mean, it's been a staple since basically COVID of what we've done here, being partners with YSN, and really appreciate you guys and everything you've done for our program.
Coach, I mean, it goes without saying that it was a slam dunk, I guess, to use an analogy for basketball, even though my brain's already turned off and on the baseball and softball. All right, let's start here, and we're going to give you the floor, and you say whatever you'd like.
Sure.
But what went into this decision for you, and kind of the time that you had to reflect on the last season, the last 18 years of building the program, what went into this decision? And you know, again, what were the challenges and what were the things that you leaned on and said, okay, this is the right time?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that really went into this. You know, I from day one always wanted to do what was best for these kids and for this school district, and you know, whether that meant me as the head coach or me in a different capacity. I always want to, you know, take those types of decisions very heavy and do what I think is best, and also have to take into consideration, obviously, my family and you know, specifically my son going to college, my daughter starting grad school and getting going in her life, and the kind of backseat that many of those family situations has taken over the last 18 to 26 years, if you include the assistant years as well. And I just thought with playing a all lineup this year of seniors and underclassmen coming back, very talented underclassmen, that it was the right time for that. I have some very good young assistants, some coaching tree guys that are out there that I think would possibly be interested as well. And I just thought it was the right time, the right move. One of the things, as wild as this might sound, that I've always wanted from the beginning is I wanted to have a really good program the year after I left. I didn't want to leave and everybody said, oh, he's leaving because they're not going to be very good or whatever. I just feel like that's an easy cop out. So the fact that our freshmen and JV went 34-4 this year and, you know, beat all those same teams that we were beating, it made me feel good that whoever comes in after me, that this thing will keep going. And I want to see somebody put their stamp on it and flourish in even greater ways than I did. And hopefully get us back to that promised land, because I can tell you after being there, there's nothing like it. They can prepare you all they want, but there's nothing like it. So just all those things put together, and I'm looking forward to a new chapter, still being part of things, and hopefully, you know, helping the next person get through some of the things that I went through at the beginning of my career, and move even faster forward, and getting to the next level.
And I guess that leads into the next question, the emotions of it. Obviously,
Yeah.
you've been a part of this for as long as Bo's been alive. I mean, when you think about, you know, the emotions, some of the rumblings, because Louisville, very small town, even though it's big, it has that small town feel. What kind of text messages, calls, you know, conversations have you had in the last, I don't know, 4 hours since the news broke?
Yeah, it's wild. I sent some text messages out before I met with my players this morning, and I shot out an email to my administration thanking them, and then also some close friends. The media, you know, sent some text message out to them. I've always appreciated them. You know, obviously Rob Johnson being the voice of our program and working through YSN. But I came in last night and I just reflected, sat in here, knew this was it. And you know, it's tough. It's part of who I've been. A lot of the relationships, you know, will still be there. They'll just be different. Much like when your seniors leave, becomes more of a friendship than it is a coach player. And I've really appreciated the people reaching out, and know that it wasn't an easy decision. But at the same time, I think it was the right decision. Sometimes you have to make those decisions, even if they're not something that totally benefits yourself.
Coach, this kind of decision is not something you make yourself. I'm sure there were a lot of people you had conversations with and got their input on whether or not this was the right time. Can you talk to us about those conversations you had, and who were some of the people that really had your back and helped you make this decision?
Yeah, just family. You know, I've talked to our AD a little bit, and just kind of, you know, touching base with some of the people that have retired in the past, resigned in the past, taken a break in the past, and how they've dealt with it. And, you know, I still have coaching in my blood. There's no question about that. And I love helping young people. You know, God willing, I'm sure someday I'll be in some capacity again, whether that's an assistant, high school, college, who knows. But it's just about the relationships. When you're young, it's all about trying to get wins and get your, you know, your staple in there. But then as you get older, you realize that the wins and losses come and go. And even in the state championship run, yeah, it's great. Don't get me wrong. It's obviously a great accomplishment for our district and our program, but it's more about watching young people and lifelong community members enjoy something that they've waited so long for.
Interesting that you said that, there's still a tickle, so to speak, for the coaching.
Yeah.
Can you see yourself coaching potentially at the next level, or returning to anywhere but Louisville in this?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Time will tell. I definitely could see myself at the next level. Kind of seeing what that's like. I don't know what possibilities are going to be out there. As far as another district, I plan on finishing my teaching career here at Louisville. I'm in year 26 right now, so a few years left of that. Obviously, Bo's going to be at Ashland for 4 or 5 years, depending how that plays out. So yeah, I like to think of myself young. Maybe others wouldn't say that, but and I think there's still some coaching left in me. And like I said, my perspective on coaching has changed a lot over the years. It was very exo basketball driven, and it's more based on relationships now and trying to create those and help people out in any way I can. So yeah, we'll see what the future brings.
Will you still be part of the conversation? I mean, you are very involved at Louisville, not just in basketball, but like the scorers table. And every time I go to Louisville, you are one of the first people and faces I see. So for you, does this slow you down from other stuff that you're involved in? Or is this going to be like, okay, well, I'm just not the head coach anymore?
Yeah, no, I definitely am involved. I don't know any other way. I'm the assistant AD. I'm the department head of our social studies department, and I've worked football games for years. I was the announcer for the football games for years. So yeah, I've done a lot. I was the assistant varsity baseball coach for 14 years here as well. I'm still planning on being part of that, doing whatever I can to help out, and maybe just kind of put some of this energy in different ways now. But I plan on still being part of the basketball in whichever way the new coach needs me to help out, and to do whatever. Maybe it's just scouting or whatever. I want to see these kids succeed, and obviously I have a lot invested to it with them. The freshmen through juniors came all the way through my program, and I want to see them finish the right way as well.
Coach, since at least for now you're going to have a retired life, what are some things you're looking forward to that you'll be spending your newfound time doing?
Yeah. My lawn's going to look really good. I have my son and I, Bo and I, actually cleaned out our koi pond yesterday, so that's something that normally I wouldn't be able to do. I've been at AAU watching, I do have a believe it or not, I actually am a contractor. So I do decks and fence on the side as well.
Oh, wow.
So I'll be doing more of that. And then I think just enjoying my family and trying to support them. My son and daughter are very unique ages right now, where my daughter is going to be graduating from West Lib and going to grad school. My son's going to college, and I just want to really help them get a jump start on their life. And, and a lot of people that helped me through the years kind of be that person for them now.
Very interesting. First, I love the fact that you got so many side hustles. I mean, that just goes to show you are the guy. You're one of the hardest working coaches, but you expect that out of your players. I guess the next question for me would be those moments, those memories over 18 years. I know they're hard to kind of encapsulate and compartmentalize, so to speak. But if you're able to, what are some of the memories that you'll never be able to forget and kind of made this a tougher decision than you thought it would be?
Yeah, I mean, most of my great memories, to be honest with you, are just kids reaching their goals, no matter what it is. I mean, obviously, we could say the state championship or the regional final 4 years ago, but it's not even just that. It's just watching kids do more than they think they can. And what you said about work ethic, I've actually had, I think it was like 14 or 15 of my players through my 18 years that have actually worked for me in the summer in my construction business. And I think it goes a long way when they realize the blue collar work ethic that you have and that you demand, they see you doing it. And I think that's gone a long way of building our program and also showing these kids a little bit of work ethic and what it takes to succeed in life. So, I just think that all the individual little memories or the text messages or helping, people through tough times and them helping me through tough times as well, is really what it comes down to. And those are things that you share with those individuals. And those are the text messages I enjoy the most on days like today, is just hearing from some of the people maybe I haven't heard from in a while.
This might be a no-brainer question, Coach, but when people step down, step away, they always talk about how much they miss what they did. What are you going to miss the most about your job as a coach and a teacher at Louisville?
I think just the internal relationship, sitting in the office and talking to the coaches, joking around with the players, a breakfast, team breakfast, Christmas get-togethers, our trips that we've gone on. We've been very fortunate to go to Florida twice and California as well. And just watching the joy of a last second, buzzer beater. And as weird as this might sound, watching kids hit adversity or a tough loss and rebounding from it, because that's really what you get out of sports. Sometimes we lose that focus, but that's what you really get out of sports. And I think that goes a long way in creating character.
Typically when things like this happen, especially in a school like Louisville that has such a tight-knit community, they'll look to former players, former coaches first to fill it in, to make sure they're not missing anything. Now, we don't have any heads up on any of that. That's just that's all we know. So for you, do you hope that it's someone that you potentially would have coached in the last 18 years, that the program continues to be that steadfast, rock hard program that you've built and that is now a state champion? Or do you think that there's an opportunity for new blood?
Yeah, I think honestly, I'm okay with any of it, just as long as they keep those same type of character traits that we've built and the same types of standards that we've had here. Of course, I would love somebody that I coached or somebody that coached under me to take it over and go in the right direction. But more importantly, I just want these kids to keep getting everything that they've gotten over these last 18 years and really pushing it forward. I don't know who that will be. I'm sure with our success, there's going to be a lot of people interested. I know I have some people on staff that's interested, some ex-coaches, players that are interested that are coaching other places. So we'll see. Time will tell, but I just hope it's somebody that comes in with really strong work ethic, and I really believe in high expectations. I believe in the man in the arena. That's just not something to post on the wall. I just really believe that sometimes people shortchange themselves when they think that you can't accomplish it, because if anyone else, probably, if they're being honest, and they looked at our schedule this year and said St. V, St. Ed, St. Ignatius, Richmond Heights, Kettering Altar, and go right down the list, there's even more. What are these guys doing? And to go, 17-1 in those games, I don't know if there's anybody other than people in the locker room that really thought that was attainable, but that's just something I really think with young people that you have to shoot for the moon. And like the man in the arena says, even if you come up short, at least you know that you tried, and you never know what you can accomplish until you do that.
And I have a last question, because I know that you have so many media members that are lined up to try to get your opinion of so many things at this point.
Yeah.
So I want to be a good steward of your time. The last thing for you is, you wrote that letter. It was incredible. One of the best resignation letters I've ever seen, because not only did you make it about everybody else instead of yourself, like you've done for the last 18 years, but you've also kind of encapsulated what it means to be the head honcho for this program, the program that you created, and that the boys have come through, and so many have come through and left their DNA, their fingerprints all over. The question for you is, for whoever steps up next and wears that jumpsuit, the tie, whatever it may be, because you've had so many of those great action figure moments over time.
Yeah.
What do you want the one characteristic to be that no matter what, at the end of the day, you can look to that the program and say, this will never leave Louisville?
Total involvement. So I think one of the things that people don't quite understand when I say the program, the whole reason that was coined, is I believed if we had any chance of doing what we ultimately ended up doing this year, that it had to be, and there couldn't be any exceptions to this, it had to be the community, the staff, the administration, the six man, the pep band, the cheerleaders, the team, the parents. It had to be everybody, because you just cannot get there. And sometimes you might even still come up short if it's not everyone. So I think just that total connectiveness that we saw when we were driving back into town, where everybody was behind us and they don't want to go home when there were 1,000 people waiting for us, at a town of 7,000, 8,000 people in this type of arena. That's all I would ask for, is just that connectiveness, the selflessness, that it can't be just you. I don't do a lot of our individual lessons. I don't do any of our strength training. My Fit Life does that. Owen Grimoy does that. Other people do that. I delegate, and I know that there are people with expertise that can do things. Whether it's a chiropractor that used to play with us, or My Fit Life, or an individual instructor, or our ministry that comes in and helps our kid with their mental side of things. It just needs to be a total buy-in by everyone involved, and you have to let go of some of that power so you can let these kids have the total experience that they need.
Coach, we can't thank you enough for letting us have the first bite at the apple here in exclusivity, but also for everything you've done over the last 5 years or so here for us at YSN. You are a legend. You are forever a state champion. And man, I'll tell you what, if you're not a Hall of Famer soon, there's something wrong with the program. Thank you for everything. Best of luck in all you do. And we're just a call away.
Yeah, DJ and Anthony, I really appreciate you guys. And, I can't say enough when we, as you spoke before I came on, got to the point where we weren't going to be with you guys anymore. And we came back. I really believe that things are meant for a reason, and for us to go through that run with you, and then also bring our guy Rob on board. I look forward to being, at least for a couple of years, a guest announcer with Rob. And I don't know if I have I don't know if I have the boom down yet, but I have to work on some kind of signature saying on that. But I really appreciate you guys a lot. And if there was something positive that came out of COVID, it was you guys. I can tell you that. And you guys just keep doing what you're doing. If there's any way I can ever help, let me know.
You got it, Coach Tom Siegfried. Got a lot of time on his hands, and apparently breaking news, he's gonna be on YSN.
He'll be on YSN.
Calling the shots. I love it.
Right.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Take care.
Take care.
There he goes. Got some breaking news out of that.
I can't wait for
Gonna be
next
calling
basketball
some
season
games.
now.
Rob Johnson probably punching the ceiling of his car or wherever he is right now. Wow. Some booms and bangs coming through in Louisville. Man, I'll tell you what. It's hard to put into words, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're human. We're fans. I'm a huge fan of Tom Siegfried. Have been for a long time. When I heard about what he and Terry Horn did when we lost the contract to Louisville, I just remember sending the text, whatever you need, we'll always be here waiting. And when we got back in and I heard the conversations about Tom Siegfried and what he said and what he did, from my business, my little business, my little lemonade stand that we've built here, Ant.
Mm-hmm.
I whatever I could ever do for him or Terry Horn, it's done. And when they were going through that run, I'll never forget where I was. It was March Madness, obviously, and I'm in an establishment, and everybody's watching March Madness, and I've got my phone up to my ear. And I'm just listening to Louisville win. And I'm listening to the golden pipes of Rob Johnson. Mm-hmm. And I remember not trying to get choked up because people like Tom Siegfried that have dedicated their life essentially to what happened, the program, and these young men and kids that walk through the schools at Louisville. I will tell you, man, it was a great, it was like you won, right? Because you want good people to succeed. And I hope that he feels the same way about us. And obviously there is a lot of that. And pardon me. I saw that letter today. Rob sent it over. He goes, "Hey, just let you know this is happening." Mm-hmm. And man, it was hard. And to get through that interview, I know that he was getting emotional. A lot went into it, but I'll tell you what, man, Ant, you know it as well as I know it, because we bleed this industry. We bleed, we sweat, we cry, all this stuff. We do our ice bucket challenges, which we'll get to in a little bit. But man, for a guy like Tom to step down, here's my biggest. I don't even know if it's a regret. I don't know what word there are hundreds of young men that will never have the opportunity to be under his tutelage. Mm-hmm. And you feel bad. But one of the things that he said during that interview, which I hope you caught, and if you can't, you'll be able to run it back, but he has such a coaching tree now. He was giving jobs to his players. And Tom Siegfried's not just a guy of here's who I am as a basketball coach, here's who I am as a person, here's who I am as a businessman, like here's who I am as a father. You know, he's the same guy across the board, and he cares more about these student athletes, students, then athletes, and then student athletes, you know, than most. And I will tell you that. And that there's a reason that he is old school. There's a reason that he did this for 18 years and he did it this type of way. But he built that coaching tree. And I'm of the hope that someone who understands Tom Siegfried and will be open to Tom Siegfried's advice is someone that will take that job and will be granted that job at Louisville, because I think that's how this continues to win. The snowball continues to get bigger down the hill. And all of a sudden, if you need Tom Siegfried's help, you're not afraid to ask for it. Because I think if you do, because I wanted to ask that question for a specific purpose. Because sometimes when you bring in someone that is new blood, right, no matter how good their resume is, no matter how much potential they have, they don't want to do anything the old way. And I think Louisville is a town that says, hey, they will hang that 2024, 2025 banner, and it will be pristine for 100 years, and there's nobody that will forget this run. And I think you need a coach that is the same way, that looks at it and goes, I respect what that man did, and I'm going to build off of what Tom Siegfried did and what that class did. And that's how you win, Louisville. That's how you're going to win. And I think they have the right people in place that recognize that. And I just hope it's the same way. I hope that they do understand that. And the next coach does roll out that blue carpet for Tom Siegfried to walk in as he wishes.
And
happy for you, Coach.
One of the things that, you know, it would make the legacy kind of live on. And if you have someone that has been coached by him, it's almost one of those things, or coached with him, one of those things where, yeah, you might not be able to be coached by him in person, but the next generation is going to be able to have the lessons that he taught someone else passed down to them. It almost makes Tom Siegfried eternal, right? Because the lessons that he passes on get passed on, then they get passed on, and they get passed on. When you have that big of an impact, you never fully retire. I mean, he's going to step down and step away from coaching Louisville, but if someone that he impacted takes that job, then his lessons are going to echo through that gym for a long, long time.
I can't imagine them not. The more I think about it, I mean, 18 years, man, that's a long time. That's an adulthood, right? That's from baby to adulthood. And that's what Bo was. And I mean, people don't like there is an interesting age between 18 and 22, which I'm assuming that's what he was referring to, that you kind of need dad. You kind of need mom more than you did. Like, yeah, because for the first time ever, like that 4 years, 18 to 22, you're experiencing so many different things in that 4 years. And I mean, as sad as I am, we won't have his coaches' corners anymore. He made it abundantly clear that if we ever need anything and vice versa, he's there. And that's what gives me excitement, because I'm excited for his next steps. I'm excited because as a dad now, you kind of, okay, here's what was important for so long. And then you're a dad or a mother. Okay, that stuff is now pushed down on the power rankings because your children, your wife, your husband, whoever, your family comes first. And now it's like a whole different thing. So it's really interesting to me and really intriguing. And I'm so proud and so grateful and so honored to be part of bringing people to Tom Siegfried and letting them know, what kind of guy he is, what kind of man he is. Like, this is not a eulogy.
No.
If I'm guessing, and I'm going to throw this out there.
Although you're wearing black.
Damn it. I'm going to guess. I'm going to predict, right? I don't even have an envelope to do the Johnny Carson bit. I'm going to predict that's not the last time we see Coach Siegfried at some point. He might be done with Louisville. I can see that. But he's still got a few more years left. And I have to imagine, especially in the surrounding areas, there's a lot of administrators that see what happened today and they're like, wow, this is interesting.
Yeah.
This guy is the type of guy we would love to have for our program. And I'm not going to name any names of universities or colleges at the next level, but you need a reference. Go right here. You think what?
YSN prospect for Tom Siegfried. We'll put his coach's tape out. Get him on those universities.
Listen,
but
and that's probably not off the table either. Like, my dude likes to hustle. I'm guessing if you had Tom Siegfried's stamp of approval on YSN prospect, that would go a long way.
But yeah, he opened the door a little bit to coaching at the next level. He didn't say that it was something he was necessarily aiming for, but he wouldn't take back the opportunity. If he wouldn't have said it if he had the door completely closed to it. So I think he would make an excellent college basketball coach. He definitely has the chops. He knows the X's and O's. But he would also, I think, be a really good recruiter. I mean, who wouldn't say yes to Tom Siegfried coming into the living room and saying, hey, come play for our program because this is what we believe in here at whatever university he's at.
Well, he knows what he needs. He knows what winning takes. And I think that's the difference. And I think that's why, I mean, hell, I see him as a head coach at the next level. And I really, I don't want to, sit there and tell him what he should do. But I there's a lot of money going around up there in the college ranks right now. And what is winning worth to you? And if you're looking for someone who is not only a basketball and baseball, I mean, he coached everything. He knows everything about everything in sports and apparently social studies.
And apparently contracting.
And there it is, contracting. He can build you a deck and also recruit you at the same time, which I think, I think that's great. He is the architect, truly the architect of the Louisville basketball program over the last 18 years. And man alive, I'll tell you what, I can't imagine the thoughts and the conversations he is going to have and the teary-eyed people that are going to come up to him and thank him for everything. Again, it's not a eulogy. This is not an obituary. This is just, hey, I'm cutting things down a little bit, a little trim of the beard. And then, you know what? I'm still here. I cannot in a million years imagine that they're not going to use that. What's the old thing? The Rolodex of people, information, knowledge, whatever that Coach Tom Siegfried has. Like,
right. They'd be silly not to.
He is the Phil Jackson of high school basketball in this area.
Ain't that the truth?
Prove me wrong.
Let's get him some glasses. He'll look just like him too.
I don't think that's the case. I don't think anybody's going to confuse those two in a picture. But I think that when you're talking about building something and believing in something and a lot of the same philosophies, the dude is the Phil Jackson of our area. He wins, and he's not apologetic for it. That's what I'm trying to relate it to. I mean, it's kind of the same thing. Like when Phil Jackson said, I'm done. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute.
But hey, Coach, we love you. We appreciate you. And we're so proud of you and your whole family and your whole program for that matter. I know it's a tough day for the program when the Mufasa steps away from the program. But I'll tell you what, man, brighter days are coming. I really do believe that as long as he's got his hands on it. So congratulations, Coach. We're proud of you. Thank you for letting us give you the floor because I thought that was cool as hell. I thought that was really neat. I thought that was really cool. So, YSN basketball show? RJ's talking.
Oh, here we go.
He heard it. 8-color guy. Can you? Oh man, can you imagine?
His eyes are saucers right now. Like, yeah, let's go.
Oh yeah,
What can we do with Siegfried? Anything.
no mistaking looks. You see him flex after the state championship. I don't think there's a Zen garden necessarily in Coach Siegfried's office.
Maybe a
If
koi
there
pond,
is-
though.
I say he does have a koi pond.
Does have a koi pond.
Very interesting. Koi pond. Maybe that's where he finds his solace. You think that's what Bo thinks about when he's draining those free throws is the koi pond? Man, I gotta clean this stupid koi pond. Ugh. Meanwhile, on the bench, when somebody gets a foul, maybe a lazy foul, maybe Coach Siegfried thinking about that koi pond, bringing a little zen to him.
There's fish circling each other, the yin and yang, and he says,
Whoa. What did you say? Yin and yang?
yeah, you know,
Yang.
yang. Yin and yang. Push. and
There's
pull.
no way that's yang. You are yang. Yin and yang.
That's how we pronounce it.
We as what? Northeastern?
I don't
Ohioans?
think
You're gonna break it down on Mandarin on
I
me
don't
now?
think I don't think the original people had a yang. I don't think the long A is a form of the Chinese language. But I
Don't
could be wrong.
Don't you dare.
I think
you
it's-
know
Let's
I
ask
married
Sarah.
into that
Let's bring her
culture.
in.
You
See,
know
man.
I married into that culture.
I
yang
would
if I've
I
ever
would
heard it.
wager that it's yang, but maybe I'm wrong.
You're young. That's what you are.
All right, I'm
You're
young.
not you're not right. You're young.
It's kind of like how
And
you,
let's get into
it's not a
before
gyro,
we get
guys.
we get in trouble because this is just dancing on eggshells right now. Break down your trip. I mean, people want to know. They saw your posts, Georgia Tech, and all that stuff that you did down south.
Yeah.
Break down your trip.
Well, first of all, I got to stop in Kentucky on Friday night and see a bunch of family that I don't get to see too often down there, right at the border of Cincinnati, Kentucky, in a place called Crestview Hills, Kentucky. So that was a real fun thing. We played a couple of games, family game night, had some fun, and then we took the rest of the drive down to Atlanta to see my mom's sister, my aunt, and a couple of my cousins that live down there. A lot of them work for Delta, so they live in the Atlanta area since Atlanta is the hub of Delta Airlines. So it was really fun to see family. That's first and foremost. A family that you don't get to see too often because they live far away. For those of you that don't know, my mom was born and raised in Kansas City. And so a lot of her family is there. One of her sisters moved to Atlanta because her husband works for Delta and they had to move down to Atlanta, as that is once again the hub of Delta Airlines. They took a couple of their kids with them to Atlanta, but a lot of my family on my mom's side especially don't necessarily live locally. So any chance you get to see them, you have to take. And then of course, everyone knows I'm a Georgia Tech fan, and every time I go down there, I get proven why I'm a Georgia Tech fan. It's not because how great they are athletically. They get their wins. That's fun, but it's the people. It's the people down there on the campus. It's the people that I know, the coaches, the people, the parents, and the programs. Never met a bad person from Georgia Tech, and was happy to spend a couple of days down there on campus and take in some Georgia Tech softball and baseball while I could. We also got the chance to see some high school gymnastics, which was kind of fun because my cousin Avery Marshall, who is a sophomore at in Georgia, was able to compete in the state prelims down there. She had to qualify for that, and then it was kind of a qualification to try to get into state. She did an amazing job. We went to this high school in Buford, Georgia. That was the biggest high school I've ever been to. It was pretty much a university, is what it felt like, its own little college. But it was a fun experience to see that and support my cousin, what she's doing, and also a little bit her older brother Jacob plays baseball for West Alabama and D2. He's a pitcher there, so we got to kind of watch his broadcast and then watch him do some work on Saturday. They won 14 inning game, and he pitched 3 shutout innings and extras as they won 8-1 in 14 innings. It was really fun to watch. So supporting my people and supporting my family and also getting to support my friends at Georgia Tech. It was a real fun time.
Yeah, and you also did not miss a beat. I had no idea. You told me that you did preface this supposedly. I completely just ran through it. So I didn't
Right.
know you were going to be in Atlanta. Saw the stuff on social media. I was like, wow, Anthony is in Atlanta, and
Yeah.
he is still just bopping out these stories that you and I work so hard on each and every night. We were up till 12.
Yep.
From 12 to 2:30 on any given night, trying to make sure that we didn't miss a beat. It is a little tougher. And that's the one thing that you and I both talk about a lot. It is a little bit tougher when you're on the road to do this, especially when you're on quote unquote vacation. That you and I never seem to actually find those vacations. We're always working. But dude, you killed it down there. You were just constant. Obviously there's a lot of people that miss some games up here, but hey, you got to have some R&R as well too. So happy that you got to be
we
down
still
there. with
had
your family.
guys like Eric Hughes and Don Pearson holding the fort down up here, and we still had games being broadcasted up here. So
We sure did.
we sure did.
We didn't.
We never
didn't
miss a beat at
any.
YSN.
We didn't miss any in Myrtle. I can tell you that
Yeah, that's true.
from a standpoint of scheduled. We didn't miss any. We only had 3 guys down there in Myrtle this year, which presented a bunch of challenges for us. But instead of crying about it, we just, hey, let's go full bore as much as we can do. Ty Bartell, true hero, because he just did a butt ton of games down there, from baseball to softball to mornings to nights and all in between. So kudos to Ty Bartell for making the trip down there and working hard. And then I had the morning shift essentially. The majority of the day, we were able to slip in because of schedules. One South Range baseball game, which was frustrating for us because we wanted to do more. The plan was to 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, but they're about 35 minutes apart. Is North Myrtle to the Ripken Experience Complex, and given the fact that number one, we didn't know how easy it was going to be to get into Ripken because we didn't get any conversation back. It was just like, hey, tiptoe in there, see if anybody raises any red flags, and broadcast. They were fine, absolutely fine, which we're grateful for. But it's also a situation where getting a call from head ball coach right now.
You're getting a call from the Ripken Experience saying that you didn't have permission.
You owe us a pretty penny, young man. But no, we ended up. I don't know have the count on how many games we did. We were able to do all 5 South Range games. I want to say all 5 Austintown Fitch girls games.
Yeah, and then 5
all 5
Canfield games. And
Chris Colucci did that, which he stood strong on Canfield and stood on business down there for Canfield. We got some Austintown Fitch baseball, as I understand.
Yep.
We had a pull-in one lined up, and just did it with all the schedules. We couldn't make it happen, so we apologize to the pull-in boys team. But boy, did they show up down there! Terrajack hitting nukes, nukes.
Pretty good from the mountain too.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this: there's a lot of games that are going to be played over the next 2 weeks that have a lot of importance on them. There's a lot of weight in these games, and I believe tonight kicks off Poland versus South Range.
Yeah, on both sides, it's going to be a big one for both sides, baseball and softball. We talked about it when we talked to Jeff DeRosa and Coach Hannick in their coaches' corners. What it's going to be like to go to Myrtle Beach late in the season this year and come back and really have to hit the ground running when it comes to league games. I mean, South Range softball still has Poland. They still have Lakeview on their schedule too, a little bit later on this week. So they have 2 really big NE8 series coming up, and then baseball as well with their matchups against Poland this week. There's no time to rest after the beach. You better have taken your R&R and woken up on the drive home over the weekend, because here it comes really big conference games tonight, tomorrow, and the rest of the week as well.
Well, and here's the thing. You and I talked about it a lot. When you come back, it is a loaded schedule. Now, The South Range schedule, as I was the primary announcer for South Range down there. Okay, so they have today. They have tomorrow. They have Wednesday. They have Thursday. They have Friday. They got 2 on Saturday. They got 7 games, Anthony. They have 7 games in 6 days. And the conversation kind of just casually around the South Range circles were, okay, whatever happens here, that's fine. Because they went 2-3, And there were times that they looked outstanding. They looked like they were world beaters and potential state champions, such as the 13-2 game that they had. And there were times where you're sitting there and you're looking at this and you're going, oh, buddy, like, what do we have here? Because it just didn't look like anything was clicking. And what we wanted to know down there was, what kind of team do you have? Because usually, as we said before on this show, you kind of know by the time you come back from Myrtle Beach who you are, what the lineups look like, pitching staff, all of that. Who are your gap hitters? Who are your clutch hitters? Who's your speed? Man, I think Canfield right now, if we're looking at this right now, the 28th of April, if we're looking at this, I think if we were doing a power ranking, Canfield looks real damn good at the top. Canfield looks really good at softball at the top, and they are unapologetic. And then you look at what Fitch has done, because Fitch had a loss down there.
Yeah,
they had a loss.
But then you go and then Fitch beat Canfield.
I know.
Everyone in there is one loss. Canfield, Boardman, and Fitch are all kind of circling.
Lakeview looks really good.
Lakeview looks really good.
We haven't seen that NE8 because that was supposed to start the season, right? Lakeview versus South Range. Now the intrigue sets in. Now, this could be a pay-per-view of South Range and Lakeview that potentially could win the NE8 title. And right now, I would give the edge to Lakeview.
They come back from the beach. They come back from the beach and they put a hurt on Gabby Gradishar. 7 runs, all 6 of them earned against Gabby Gradishar and Champion. Get a little bit of revenge on the Flashes from their district loss to them last year. So they put a statement to the softball world by saying, "Hey, there's not a pitcher in the state that we can't hit."
And there's a lot of people that we were talking to down there that saw that game. That was on Thursday, correct?
Thursday, because Lakeview did started their weekend a little bit early, so they came back on Wednesday.
So Friday, there were people like, "Did you see what happened? Did you see?" Yeah, that's what we do. Like, we saw it, but it was one of the like eyes are opened, and I don't think South Range would ever back away. I just know that's not their MO. But I will say this, that they are aware. And as big as those games were to open up the season, Lakeview and South Range, I think now, buddy, they have the weight of the world on them. And you have South Range has a lot to learn. And they're going to learn a lot in the next 6 days, starting tonight. Now, there's rain in the forecast, so that could be either beneficial or detrimental to this week in learning about themselves. But we are going to know who South Range is come Sunday of this week. We're going to know. We're going to know what the odds are for that to be essentially or potentially a NE8 championship series against Lakeview. We're going to know. And I'm really excited for it. And I think there's a lot of people that are Fitch fans out there that are going to say, screw off, where's Ty? But, here's what I'm going to tell you. Canfield, just optically, looked different than we've seen them in the past. They look like they were ready to go. Ready to go. And not that Fitch wasn't at all, but it just looked different. And it was my first live look at the Fitch team without Ayla Ray and Sydney Watts. So that's on me. But it's a different team.
Yeah,
and I think that they have some gelling to do as well.
They have to win in different ways. That's the thing. I mean, Canfield is the same thing. They have to win without Melina Toth. They're not winning 2-1 anymore. They're not winning 3-2. They had to get into a slugfest with Fitch. What, it was 20-15,
right?
Dramatically different than games that they've played before look like, where it was 1-0 and you barely get a run across if you do it all. So both those teams have to win in different ways. Canfield has done a little bit more of a consistent job, especially at Myrtle Beach, finding their groove a little bit. But I think, you leave out a little bit Boardman in there on a 10-game winning streak, and they're playing really, really well. They split with Fitch. They held that offense to 3 runs in their win over Fitch. They still have both their games with Canfield left. That's going to be very interesting to see what the Spartans kind of come up with, knowing that Fitch still has to play Howland once, who they only beat by 2 runs the first time. Still have to play Canfield again. And they could slip up in one of those two games, and then if Boardman sweeps Canfield, they can take that league for the first time in a long time.
The Canfield Fitch game, the second game will be where?
It's going to be at Canfield.
At Canfield. Okay.
Yeah, and they're playing at Howland on Wednesday. They've made that game. They're trying to make that game up. They keep getting hit by the rain, and these teams want that home game against Fitch, and they're holding on to hope that they'll get them off the turf. But right now, it's looking more and more like they're going to have to play their home game on the turf because they keep getting rained out, and eventually, push comes to shove, you got to get these games in at some point, right?
I will make a especially with 7 divisions this year, right?
Right.
I'm going to make a real bold call right now is that Fitch is going to be there. Canfield's going to be there. I'm going to say that where's Boardman at? What division are they?
They're 3, I think. I could be wrong.
So they're in with Canfield?
Yeah.
Or is Canfield 4?
I think Canfield's 3, Lakeview's 4, South Range and Champion are both 5. And then you have Maplewood, who's only a 2-loss team right now, down there at 7.
I know my phone's blowing up. Here's what I'm going to tell you about South Range. The biggest moments have not yet happened for South Range because they're players that are just putting it together. I want to tip my cap to Jaylee Wilt because she admitted it in her interview while we were down there. She's like, I just haven't been able to put my pitching together yet. Yeah, but she's found other ways to lead. And it's incredible.
With Jaylee Wilt, that state championship hurt her. You know, she felt it, you know, and I saw it in the summer. And I think she's still kind of working her way back to get mentally confident in her stuff again. We all know what happened in that state championship. She knows what happened in that state championship. She's still trying to kind of get her groove back in the pitching circle. The stuff is there. I know that. But when she finds it, watch out because she's going to be the same pitcher that took them all the way to that final game. She just got to get her groove back a little bit, get that mojo back in the circle.
What I'm saying, though, all that aside, is it'd be really easy to sulk over that. It'd be really easy to pout and say, you know what, woe is me. Or you could be a great teammate. You could rattle the fence. You could hit triples, jump up and shout into your dugout and raise the level of defense over at first base and offense at the dish like she has done and be a contributor without being in the circle. Because, listen, this is not Jaylee. Most pitchers are very weak up here. Very weak. If they've got a bad outing, you might as well just wipe them off the map. Like, they might as well not be on your roster. She was able, in her great... I mean, I have a hard time even piecing this together because she just did it. She said, we had a team meeting. This is what we talked about. This is who I want to be. I want to be a leader for this team. And she did it. She's doing it. And she's doing it. She's leading by example. She's not talking about it. She's walking about it. And, dude, there's a game down there that South Range does not win. Does not win if it's not for the leadership of Jaylee Wilt. I can tell you that right now. And I'm let you know, South Range missing a few pieces. Now it's very well documented. We've talked about it. They've got injuries that are starting to come back. Anna A towards the end, starting to get hot. Kira Brogan. Is she coming back? Is she going to be a contributor? She's got all kinds of accolades and awards. And is she going to be playing with her sister, Mud, on that roster? That makes South Range, if it is anywhere near healthy, Kira Brogan, that makes South Range infinitely better.
It gives them another lefty in that lineup that has power. I mean, you look at that lineup, it's got more left-handed power than most teams in high school really do, especially with Anna A in there. You add Kira Brogan, who's more than just a speedster at the plate. She can give you those extra base gap hitting type hits. That's hard to pitch to. You know, that's kind of more of a college lineup when you see a good mix of lefty and righties at the plate that can do a lot of different things. And then you also have to remember that Giada Pauline did not start the season 100%. She was coming off of an injury. She's starting to get, you know, her hitting where it needs to be. You're starting to see her spark up. So yeah, there's a lot of things that are going the right way for South Range right now, and it's colliding with Lakeview and Poland right now this week. It's gonna be fun.
It's exciting. I'm excited. And you talk about baseball. We talked about Tara Jack being an absolute stallion down there. He's been able to do it the entire year. Potential MVP numbers he's putting up right now. Hit 2 home runs in 1 game, if I'm not mistaken. Pardon me. You sit there and you look at what South Range did down there, and they pretty much put the foot on the pedal until the last, was it Friday? Friday, they took a hard loss. This is going to be an exciting week. It's going to be an exciting week. It's going to be a lot of weight on a lot of different teams. Boardman's been able to get it done back home. Canfield looks really good on the diamond
I think
as well.
Hubbard baseball is going to be a battle in that NE8 too. I mean, you look at Poland hasn't run away with the league yet. They have 1 loss. So Hubbard's going to be a team. They had a really good performance from Braden Songer. He had a really good start, I believe, on Wednesday or Thursday this week. A shutout and a 3-0 win for Hubbard. So the NE8 on both sides looking really, really good.
And we look like such homers with NE8, but like this is where a lot of the excitement is right now. And AAC, hey, listen, we see you. Hey, we recognize you. We recognize you. But it's one of those things, like the excitement right now is in the NE8. It is on both sides. Real quick, before we get to the Spark today, and we acknowledge our sponsors, our Tribal Chiefs, potential MVP candidates right now. And who do you got? Softball, baseball?
I'll tell you what, in softball right now,
because it's been pretty dominated by a couple over the last 3 years.
I know, and there's one name that's still in that mix, but Gratishar, but you never know because she didn't. There was a little chink in that armor with the Lakeview game. You don't take one game and just throw her completely out of the conversation because of it. But at the same time, Lakeview's having some players that you might, the Isabella Eisenberg and Max Stowe are having great seasons. And then you go over and you see what Caitlin Plesko's doing for Columbiana. Whoo. And then you go up and you see what Kayleana Ray and Abby Toth are, of course, doing for Fitch. And you see what Jenna Treveri and Marina Koenig are doing for Canfield. There's a lot of big players out there, and there's a really good freshman for Maplewood, by the way, and Addison Marker, who's having a tremendous season. There's a lot of names floating around in softball right now that are having tremendous seasons.
It's not. I think we both can agree on this. It's not as dominant, as we've been in the past, where we're like, okay, this is your MVP. This is your
boom. There you go. And we know Melina Toth. There you go. And Gratishar has to be in there somewhere. There you go. It's almost written in stone.
Now, I think you're going to see the most diverse bunch of postseason awards that you've ever seen on YSN. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I would, especially in the last 3 years. And I'm also looking at defensive player of the year because we have excellent catching. And I know we like to tend to give catchers defensive player of the year. Not always, but we like to lean the catcher's way. There's a lot of good catchers in softball right now that are doing their thing.
Missing one of the best, by the way.
Yeah.
Warzala is out, and I thought she was just write her down. Right. Write her down. She's in. Baseball, you got Tara Jack. I mean, Tara Jack is having a year, but you look over at Cardinal Mooney. Dude, I'm telling you what, Caden Reese, if you look at where he ranks across the state in his numbers, he is leading in multiple categories. And he's a sophomore.
Yeah.
And a lot of people eye roll whenever we gave him rookie of the year, freshman of the year last year. Dude, we saw him coming up and we thought, okay, like he's got speed right now. Put on 15, 20 pounds of muscle last year, lost a little bit of it with basketball, put it back. And he's putting it back on as we speak. And he is hitting over, I believe he's hitting over 550 right now. And they're not playing just slumber party baseball. They're playing some dudes.
Yeah.
And
for
Caden's sticking out. I mean, it is going to be what I believe we're going to have to go to an establishment and get some pizzas and some Cokes and
have a talk.
It might turn into a little bit of a brawl because Like there are some guys, and it's hard
Yeah.
not to make the case for them when you have statistics.
There are some guys that, are a little bit. I don't think we've had Garfield baseball as a postseason winner yet, but Aiden Hill having a great season for the G-men.
Hiscox from South Range.
Owen Boone is having a great season for LeBray. So is Austin Rowe. So Newton Falls, Cameron Huff. Those two teams are going at it. Newton Falls and LeBray in the MVAC gray tier. So you can't forget about them. And there's a lot of
Hale
sneaky-
Maraski in Palestine with a perfect game.
Absolutely. That's a pitcher of the year candidate if I've ever seen one.
You got about 5 or 6 dudes from Canfield that could. I mean, Anthony Groner by himself is.
And then
I don't know how he's not up for multiple awards.
Don't forget about
in
Mr.
the postseason.
Recitar from Boardman when we're talking about the AAC in Canfield.
Just lasers. Dude is just throwing lasers. And again, an underclassman. He's a sophomore. Coaches can't even talk to him till August.
Mhm.
It's unbelievable. Kurlik as well having a year.
Urslin's having a good season from Jake Bellog. There's
AJ
names.
Snyder.
There's names for days.
I mean, this is the stuff that gets me pumped up because you know what? This is the conversations that should be happening across local sports talk. Local sports talk.
But you talk
I
about
love
this
the
week how
Steelers.
important it is for conference plays. Like we're going to be looking at this week too when we talk about postseason awards. Who steps up big in these moments, right? Who comes up big for their teams when conferences are on the line? That's going to be
Whippo
talked
gets
about.
a shout out.
Like
Whippo
I know
gets a
people
shout out here
who gets Ashley Beulah County.
from a Sammy. And yeah, I mean, dude, I'm pumped up. Like this show pumped me up. Like what a bounce back show here. What a bounce back show. You get Tom Siegfried and everything that he brings to the table. And then we have a great discussion here in the back half of the show talking about the great softball and baseball happening right now. Here's what I'm going to tell you, folks. If you haven't yet stepped out of your home and went and attended any of these great baseball or softball
Go out
games,
tonight because it's warm.
get out there tonight. You'll probably get lacrosse the rest of the week. You can play. You can go watch lacrosse. And we're pushing for that. Lacrosse, we're here for you. We love you. I don't know anything about it. We're trying. We'll put those names in lights. But if you haven't seen any of these superstars, and that's what they are, superstars, go out and watch tonight. I promise you, you'll walk away. Someone will impress you. If it's not what they do on the field, it's what they do off of it. It's the kind of teammate they are. It's the kind of, they're pushing around the drag after the game by these are the kind of people you want to be with and you want to support and you want to root for, you want to cheer for. And that's what we do here better than anybody at YSN. And get out there tonight. Go enjoy the weather. 65 degrees, somewhere around that, according to Storm Tracker 21. Don't have it right in front of me. But you can download it right now for free in your app store. Storm Tracker 21. And do not blame Andrew DePaulo.
Yeah, don't.
For poor weather. He didn't do it. He did.
Yes, he
He's
did.
innocent.
He's got the buttons, so we know it. We know it.
All right. Before we hit to our Joe Dickey Electric, what's your spark? As always, what we want to do is we want to acknowledge the 2 brands that make this show possible, that allow us to do what we do, which is absurd that we're allowed to do it. That the Lord provides us this opportunity, but also not above with the Lord. Also, our friends at Greenwood Chevrolet and Toyota of Warren. Anthony, we're wrapping up Car Care Month. What do they got over at Greenwood Chevrolet?
We are wrapping up Car Care Month. You got 3 more days if you conclude today of Car Care Month. And one of the most important things you can have in a car, of course, is tire health and make sure those brakes are going good. If you go down to Greenwood Chevrolet, their service department will make sure your tires are well kept. They'll make sure your oil is in there. They'll make sure your brakes are working good. They will take care of you. They'll take care of your car. Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin, now they go the extra mile for you. If you are in the market for a new or used vehicle, make sure to check them out. There's no one better out there than Greenwood Chevrolet.
And as far as it goes, where's it at? Where? There it is. Our friends at Toyota of Warren. I'll tell you what, And I drove 1,000 miles over the last week and a half. 1,000 miles. And I was in I almost made a mistake there. I don't want to limit the ability to get a sponsor. So I was in something that was not a Toyota. And let me tell you something, wasn't crazy about it. I missed the Toyota Tundra. I missed my Toyota 4Runner more than anything. The luxury that you feel for not having to pay a luxury price. Let me tell you, man, we got back in that Tundra this morning. I got Z into school and I'm like, hey, man, it's been 10 days since we jumped in this bad boy. He was geeked up. Said, let's rev it up. Let's get out of here. Let's go places. Toyota of Warren, our friends, Tino, he will make you feel right at home. Jimmy, the finance manager over there, he'll make sure that you're not, on a shoestring budget. He'll make sure he takes care of you and you have a comfortable place. You can even go out to dinner after you buy this Toyota because they're going to make sure you're comfortable at a comfortable price. Ladies and gentlemen, go to Toyota of Warren because at Toyota, you can go places. That is my I had to get the tagline, and I watched a lot of Toyota stuff. Toyota, go places.
Journalism.
Capitalism. Oh yeah, do not. I will tell you this. I don't care if they pay us $1 billion. Well, maybe $1 billion. Polestar 2 stink. They stink. Like
everyone has a price, but it's high.
We would still be in Texas, in Dallas, Texas, if it weren't for, I don't even know. Like we were in there for a half hour. We didn't know the car was on. These electric cars. We were a bunch of wildebeests.
Yeah, and that's only the Toyota Prius, right? We'll keep it nice for Toyota.
Not the Polestar 2.
That's all you get. Not the Polestar
2. I don't even know who makes that. I forget who makes it.
Not Toyota.
It's VW. It's not Toyota. Toyota would never.
No, they would have a Prius. Never.
Neither would Chevy. Chevy wouldn't put out a Polestar 2. Nope.
Nope.
They make it better. Make it better. All right, it is time for the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by Joe Dickey Electric. They are everything electrical, and I want to send a shout out to our guy Eric Carlson at Joe Dickey Electric, who gave me a video that they did with the United Way that is going to be viral in their industry, in the electric industry. So kudos to Joe Dickey Electric, what they do for our valley. We're so grateful that you're a partner here with YSN, and we're so grateful that you like listening to Sparks, which sometimes are good and sometimes not so good. So we'll see what today holds right here. Joe Dickey Electric. You can find them on the web 24/7, 365 at Joe Dickey, at DickeyElectric.com. Oh, come on. Hit the... It's called karma right there. It's called karma.
My spark today, Ice Bucket Challenge. It got to me. I thought while I saw it swirling around social media, I thought there's no way this gets to me. There's no way someone nominates me. But it was, sure enough, it got leaked to DJ, and then DJ, put my name on it. And I'll tell you what, if you haven't watched it on my Facebook page, you should go and watch it. It did not go. The way I thought it would. That's for
no. I gotta make sure that microphone and camera. All right, this might be ugly. Hang on. I'm just gonna go to the ceiling for this one. It's not showing up yet. Has it?
Oh my god!
All right, I'm back page. All right. Uh-oh.
Does it sound like the Friday the 13th?
Bad. It's bad. All right, I need to... Hang on. How do I get? Because the world has to see this. And I should have done this before. I don't even know how to get this on.
You don't have to see the full video.
We're seeing the full video.
You can see the full video one on my Facebook. But like in my mind, I thought the water's gonna hit me. I'm gonna do some cool pose and be like clock's ticking. Have a cool action star. One liner, but. Little did I know that as soon as that water hits you, your muscles tense up bad, and you just shoot right out of that bench you're sitting on. And I had to catch myself from not head planting into the faucet of the tub. Yeah, it was a wild thing, but it's all for a good cause. So you make a fool out of yourself on the internet for a good reason.
I will tell you how it all started. It was in it was in Myrtle Beach that Colucci got nominated, which was fine. I was cool with it. And he's like, hey, I need you guys to do this. I'm like, okay, we did this 10 years ago. Like, okay, fine, whatever. Did it to Colucci. Like, first, he would have been knocked out because he put all the ice in there from our refrigerator at the condo. And it was a rock solid thing. I'm like, dude, you probably should break this up before you do this. And he didn't. So I broke it up when we put ice in there. Where is? Oh, it's not letting me do it.
Ha! Victory.
I'm not done with this yet. So anyway, I get nominated by Donnie Riccatelli, who I wouldn't have done it had he not worn the YSN shirt. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. Kids and Sarah had a great time dumping it on me. And I was like, okay. Like I told you, like who's never been nominated? Like you, I feel like you never had it. And I was right. You never got nominated. And then Scotty and Radar. For a while there, the 24 hours thing, if we're going by the 24-hour rule, you owe some money. Yeah. You owe some money to the USC, whatever it is. But you did it. I'll count it. And Scotty, Radar, you're on the clock. I haven't heard boo from either one of them. I'm disappointed. Where is? All right, I'll release it if I have to. Like I'll do it on my own. Because like you didn't do the right well. Like that, the ending was the best, and people just get this little taste of what that was. The ending was the best, dude. The bucket's on your head still.
Bucket got stuck on my head, and I'm just sitting there like
you were just in shock. And you did it to yourself, so it wasn't like you were prepared.
I was not really.
Not really.
Like, my brain thought something completely different was going to happen.
Dude, it looked like someone knocked you out. Like you had the same expression that UFC fighters have when they're trying to wake them up with smelling salts. It was the best. It really was the best. And now I can't. You do this on mobile all the time, and God bless you because I hate this thing on mobile. There we go. I'm out. The ice bucket challenge is interesting, right? Because you never know like who's actually. You're supposed. The idea is either you do the ice bucket challenge or you donate to the charity,
right?
And like people just don't do it at all. But there's also like what's the word I'm looking for? There's like a ego piece to this, right? Like either you're too good for this or, hey, this is going to get me what, like it's just dumping water on your head. It's not that big a deal.
Right.
Not that big a deal. And if it helps out people, my thought, my understanding was it just brings awareness, right? To the cause, which is you and I, that's what we do for a living. We bring awareness to causes that we believe in, whether it be sports or, otherwise. And this was just another way to do it. And I think everybody should do it. In fact, I'm nominating everyone. For the USC, everyone, hashtag everyone. For the
all
USC
142 of you that are watching right now.
No, in all seriousness, if you've ever been interviewed by YSN, I want you to do it. I want you and tag YSN, and I'll do you one better. We'll have people from YSN do it as well. The Sam Torreses of the world, Ty Bartel, who you called out, will do it. Like we'll get Rob Johnson to do it. There's no doubt. So every time that we get tagged, we'll have someone from YSN do it, and they only have to do it once. So we're not going to play that game of like 900 people do it. We got to do it 900 times.
DJ Oakley.
And simulation. We know why. But hey, we'll give you a like. How about that? Is that good enough, Ant?
Yeah, I think so.
There's your challenge for the USC Speak Your Mind challenge to benefit mental health awareness. We're challenging you. If you've ever done an interview on YSN, coaches, players, it's on you. That's going to do it for our show. We got, I don't know. Do you have a game tonight?
Yeah, I'm at Canfield for Holland Canfield softball.
It's a good one. It's a good one. I am at the Z-Man's game, so catch me out and about. Probably gnawing on my nails from my son up at bat and in the field. Now I understand why parents get so nervous. I get it. I never got it before. I get it now.
It never goes away either. I saw a lot of parents in Georgia Tech. They were like pacing on the burb, or they were standing up in the grass, just pacing back and forth. It never goes away. So,
did you get to see the Watts while you're down there?
I did.
Awesome. Oh, and just a thank you to the part of my spark. Thank you to the administrators. A thank you to the coaches, the players, that when we go down to Myrtle Beach and potentially Pigeon Forge, Tennessee next year, spoiler alert, that that allow us access and allow us to do what we do. Thank you to North Myrtle Beach Sports Complex, which will never see this. Thank you to the Ripken Experience. We'll never see this. But thank you to the parents, because those are some of the cool moments that the parents will stop you, because there is a little bit of time and you're kind of isolated in that satellite location.
Yeah.
That we get to hear about kind of what we do and why it matters. And that never gets old. And some of those relationships with the coaches, like having those just candid conversations. It's not always about softball or baseball. It's about, hey, what are you guys doing down here? Austintown Fitch took Ty out to dinner. Thank you, Steve Ward. And they took him and his family and Chloe and Ashley out. So thank you to them for doing that. Again, unnecessary, but very, very grateful that you did that. Thank you to South Range for allowing us to be part of your conversations, to hang out with you guys at the beach, to hang out with you guys, at multiple places and talk shop and Fitch and Canfield and Poland and you name it. Lakeview, thank you so much for allowing that. And we hope that we'd see more schools down there, because, hey, we got all our games in while we were down there. That was priority number one. So that's going to do it for our show. For Anthony Hartwig, my name is DJ Yokley. We will see you tomorrow, where we have 12:15 with Taggart Carfanja of Warren JFK. Anthony, do we have anything else on the agenda?
Not yet, but you never know. Keep an eye on social media. We'll pop them up.
Never know who's going to be swiping through here on YSN. Again, for Anthony, I'm DJ. Ant, may sports be with you.
And you, my friend.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.